On 2 very shortly, the young snooker player from London, Jimmy White, takes on Canada's Cliff Thorburn in the second semi-final of Pot Black 85. In 25 minutes on BBC1, QED focuses on the world of the Austrian downhill ski racer Franz Klammer as he prepared for his final World Cup season this year, demonstrating how his achievements stem from a combination of skill and modern technology. For now it's time for the 9 o'clock news with Julia Summerville.
Strike again in Newry. 2 men are killed a month after the police station was bombed. Jams at the ports, queues at the airports, the holiday outlook for Easter. A bishop calls on his controversial colleague at Durham to resign. The top-of-the-table match at Tottenham tonight. And what lay ahead for this young politician 20 years ago? Good evening. Politicians on both sides of the Irish border have condemned the latest IRA attack on the security forces in Newry. Little over a month after terrorists killed 9 policemen inside their own station, a car bomb has killed 2 men just outside the courthouse. One of today's victims was also a policeman. Michael Kay was 35 and married with 2 children. He'd left England for a new life in Northern Ireland. The other victim was Kenneth Parry, who was 55 and a security guard. He too had moved to Ulster from the Midlands after being made redundant. Tonight it's emerged that the bomb was detonated from the house of a pensioner which had been taken over by gunmen last night. From Newry, Neil Bennett.
The policemen were on their way into the courtroom half an hour before proceedings were due to begin. One officer had got out of their Land Rover to help the security guard open the gates when the bomb was detonated. About 5 pounds of high-power commercial explosives had been left in a car parked only feet away. The blast enveloped the 2 vehicles in flames and killed the policeman instantly. The security man died later in hospital. It was only the armour plating on the police Land Rover which saved the lives of the other 6 officers.
I came out of the office and first thing I saw really was this massive black smoke, and I could just see the Land Rover through the smoke. Everything was burning. Beside that, another car burning away. There were sort of police running about, and then I saw a policeman coming from the Land Rover, sort of hobbling along the wall. His leg was badly damaged, and I heard later that it was probably broken. His head there was blood coming from his head and his arm.
A house overlooking the courtroom had been taken over by 2 gunmen last night. The bomb was almost certainly detonated from there by remote control, even though the IRA must have seen there were civilians nearby. It's only 5 weeks since the IRA murdered 9 police officers in Newry in a mortar attack. Now, more questions are bound to be asked about the protection given to the security forces in Northern Ireland. For example, shouldn't parking be restricted outside such an obvious target for the terrorists?
If we take this line, we would have to impose car parking restrictions everywhere in the province. Now, there are about 700,000 cars registered. If 1/10 of those cars are on the streets on any working day, that is 70,000 cars to be restricted in parking. We would manage to paralyse the community. That is not a realistic approach.
As the province mourns 2 more victims of the IRA, the murders underline yet again that it's impossible to provide total defence against ruthless terrorists.
Travellers abroad over Easter could face long delays on their way home because of a planned work to rule by the customs men. The unions representing nearly 19,000 officers say the government's pay offer of about 4.5% isn't enough because pay settlements have lagged behind inflation for 5 years now. They want 15%. To comply with the law, the civil service unions are balloting their members over industrial action, but a work to rule is not illegal.
These are the lucky ones. They'll be through customs and on their way in about 5 minutes. But over next weekend, there'll be about 250,000 passengers coming home through Dover. They won't be so lucky. The unions won't say exactly what'll be waiting for those passengers, but it's likely to be detailed searches, even in the nothing to declare.